So, Destiny 2 PvP. It's kind of safe to say that it's not where it should be, at the very least. And in my own opinion, Destiny 2 PvP is actually dry and very boring, and its competitive aspirations really caused a PvP arena that saps the fun and solely focuses on being able to communicate with teammates. For the average solo player, this creates an unwelcoming environment that ultimately leads the player to getting upset or bored with the game very quickly.
Whoa, that's like fucking mean.
So I know after saying something very profound like that, a lot of avid Destiny 2 players are gonna have a lot of ideas that sprout to mind to contradict what I'm saying. And while there probably is validity in it, I do want those people to just hear me out for a second. Let me get through the video, and if you do have something that you still believe contradicts what I'm saying, to leave it in the comment section down below. By no means am I a hater of Destiny 2. In fact, I love the Destiny franchise. I spent most of my high school career playing it. My only problem with Destiny 2 is that it went back to square one from where Destiny 1 started. The end of Destiny 1 is a great game, but Destiny 2 kind of resets the initial problems, and because of that, I no longer feel a need to support the game, even if I do love the franchise. The whole focus of this video is to open conversation, and for me personally, it's to see where the Destiny 2 community, the current community, what they view and where their head's at. So yeah, this video may not be the most positive thing for Destiny 2, but in no means am I trying to hate on it. I just genuinely want to see what the Destiny 2 community thinks of the PvP at its current state. So before I get into why I think Destiny 2 PvP is so bad as it is currently, let me start off by giving you background with how I came to the conclusion that you guys heard in the beginning of this video. I was recently playing Destiny 2, and no surprise, I got burnt out pretty much within an hour, maybe an hour 30 minutes tops. And so I decided to play a different game. And the game that I chose to play was Halo Reach. There wasn't really any reasoning behind it. I just decided to do it for mostly nostalgia purposes. Now, what I didn't remember about the game was that its team deathmatch was 4v4. And it was kind of weird to see because I still enjoyed the game despite it being 4v4. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, duh, 4v4 isn't something definitively bad. But at this point in time, to me, it was connotatively bad because of Destiny 2's poor implementations. And so as I was playing this game, a light bulb kind of went off in my head. And it kind of begged the question of, why does Halo Reach work with 4v4s, whereas Destiny 2 just ultimately doesn't? And it kind of prompted me to sort of analyze their differences. From a consumer's point of view, I can say there are some key differences that I think points to why I can still enjoy Halo Reach, even if it is a 4v4 PvP experience. In essence, I think Reach works because it's simple and stupid with force. Let me explain. Reach's design isn't really emphasized with its map orientation or map symmetry. Its focus is the player functionality within its environment. Players all have the same weapon, they all have the same grenades. There's no aiming down the sights unless it's with a specific weapon that you pick up, and even then, your character flinches out of it when they're shot. And even more so, they drop that weapon when they die. Along with that, there's limited classes to play, but each does give a unique advantage in what it offers. The point I'm trying to draw here is that the game itself is very simple in its design. The advantages are unique, but they're not game breaking. The weapons themselves are strong, but if you die, you lose them. The players all use the same weapons, and in that way, there's a simplified form of equality that really converts itself to a baseline level of skill. This baseline intentionally focuses the game on situational skill more so than anything else. It's not more so that you have the most broken weapon or that you have a better weapon than someone else. It's more so that you understand what to do when you encounter said person with said weapon with said skill. And I think that focus at the end of the day is the best kind of focus, where the focus is geared on an individual player skill and not a team compositional skill. But I'll get a little bit further into that later on. Right now, what I want to talk about is the gameplay you're seeing. It's pretty much a 4v2. I don't think it started off that way, but it did definitely end up that way. However, even though it was a 4v2, I never felt like I was being overly suppressed. Having less teammates meant less overall team efficiency, but it also meant a lower amount of opportunities for the opposing team to get points, even if they had a higher team efficiency. So it really boiled down to playing your cards right. And again, the big conclusive reason for this is that communication is not equal to skill in Halo Reach. It's necessary to actually outplay your opponents. That essentially encompasses the differences that I personally see between Halo Reach and Destiny 2. But another question can also be drawn after seeing their comparison, and it's the question of why Destiny 1 PvP works or Destiny 2 PvP doesn't work. And again, I decided to analyze their own differences and see if it was really just a numbers issue for Destiny or if it also was a focus issue. See, here's the thing. Destiny 1 emphasizes chaos and complexity, not communication and complexity. 6v6 PvP design allows, just from a purely numerical point of view, a more chaotic environment. And when you couple that with the almost limitless amount of combinations that you can get from weapons, grenades, skill trees, and etc., you kind of have a game where anything can happen at any time and a lot of crazy stuff just in general goes down. A few other points that allow chaos to thrive more so comes through again when you see 12 players in a game. A radar may help with distinguishing position, but with so many players running about, its importance is far less. Abilities in Destiny 1 were strong, and intentionally so. It allowed players who were smart with what they had to outplay other players. Even when you have all these people running around with strong weapons and crazy abilities, it still came down to the technical understanding of positioning, which translates to overall skill in winning a certain scenario. So big plays could be made in Destiny 1. A single Guardian could easily outmatch multiple Guardians if they knew what to do. Again, we see that communication does not equal skill. We see that a game focused on skill, even if what they're using is broken, still ultimately provides an environment where you're having fun. And to add on to that, I'd even say that the chaotic environment was the most compelling part of Destiny 1's PvP. Having a game where you can see quad feeds or you can see full-on six-mans by one person, it's an exciting thing to witness, where you can have a game where someone pops a super and everyone gets terrified instantly because they know how strong that one super can be. It's something that's actually pretty fun. There's just so many scenarios where the chaos that Destiny 1 provides creates such a fun tension within playing the game. It's something that makes you want to keep playing. And I feel that Destiny 2's focus on competition and in general watering down chaos has kind of led to the opposite effect. But again, I'm about to get right into that, so I won't speak a little bit too far on that. I just want to wrap this portion up by saying that a focus on chaos, but chaos that still has elements of technical skill is why Destiny 1 succeeds, and why Halo Reach, even if it's simple, also succeeds. It has chaos. It has moments where you run into the opposite team and you see player after player after player drop, and you see a weapon go from one team to the other team in different people's hands in high frequency. So yeah, the elements of chaos and technical skill can still be found in Halo, and I think that's the reason why Halo Reach succeeds as well.
Leave me alone before I get my
Squat. Squat.
From this point on, anything we do together. Body on the corner, million in the trunk.
Well done.
7 figures high,
Fuck.
every other.
Alright, so let's get down to the nitty gritty of why I think Destiny 2 PvP pretty much flops for its target audience. Or maybe not its target audience. At this point, I'm not entirely sure if its original community was the target audience of Destiny 2. I'm pretty sure there are videos who will say that it was supposed to broaden the target audience, but let's just assume for this video that its target audience were Destiny 1 players. For the most part, because all abilities have been watered down and special weapons have become heavy weapons, although I've heard that this will change through Forsaken, we're left with a game where its most compelling point, chaos, has been stripped from it. And we also find ourselves in these predicaments where a single Guardian can't really do anything against multiple people. These changes results into pack mentality, where team shouting increases an individual player's skill so far, and ultimately the team efficiency so far, that there's really no reason not to. It's almost guaranteed that a team will steamroll through another team as long as they all work together. And I know that cooperation should always be a big focus with any game, but I don't know if cooperation to a point where the opposite team has no chance should be where we're at. I think there should be a healthy medium where chaos and chance kind of finds its way halfway between skill and communication. With the return of 6v6 in the Crucible, I'm not sure if it'll live up to the fun of Destiny 1. The main problem right now is that Destiny 2 is still foundationally a communication game. Being able to have a full team talking to each other definitively gives a real advantage by way of call-out positioning and delegating certain roles to people. I'm not saying these advantages didn't exist in Destiny 1, but again, their importance was far less. And unless they shift the focus of PvP to chaos, I'm not sure Destiny 2 can reach Destiny 1 standards. I think it still has the potential to be fun, but definitely not in the same way. And that's where some of the older members may have a problem. When your original target audience enjoys the game because of chaos, a shift in its focus may not necessarily retain your target audience. It may develop and create a new audience who enjoys the game for what it is currently, but those who enjoyed the game for what it was may not necessarily agree. In any case, these are my thoughts on the 4v4s in Destiny 2. Ultimately, I don't think Destiny 2 is a terrible game. I just don't think it was what we wanted it to be. And that's why so many people have a problem with it. Especially when we all believed it was supposed to be a successor to Destiny 1. And instead, it kind of seems like it's taking a new approach to Destiny in general. So it's almost like they're making horizontal progression and not linear progression. It's kind of like if you want the chaos, you go to Destiny 1. If you want something more competitive, you go to Destiny 2. And I'm sure that most of the people were expecting that it would just be an enhanced version of Destiny 1. Anyways, let me know what you guys think below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video.